Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. As you guys probably know, every now and again, Gaijin releases a Silver Lion crate in which you can purchase it with typically 60,000 Silver Lions, and you can get any number of rewards coming from about boosters to Silver Lions to orders, wagers, decorations, decals, and even vehicles. So previous vehicles that were given out during events, you can actually win those too. And that's what this video is all about. I want to go over these Silver Lion crates and how really they're not all that good of a deal. Now, I'm not going to say that they're an outright scam because genuinely I do not believe that they are. However, I do want to go over again in this video that really they're not a good deal, and in some instances could be a complete waste of your real money. Yes, even though they do cost Silver Lions, which is the in-game currency, they could end up taking your actual money. With that said, let's get into it. And just to start, I know I open up SL crates and put a video out pretty much every single time one of these SL crates appears. For me, it's not that big of a deal because I am a Gaijin partner. I get free Golden Eagles every month, and also I play this game a hell of a lot, so I've got a good amount of Silver Lions at the beginning of each of these events that I could just kind of spend freely on these crates. And also, I know that I do go over some of the dangers, so to speak, of these Silver Lions crates within those videos, but I feel that having a more in-depth standalone video is something that needs to be made, kind of like a totem, constantly warning people what they're getting into before they waste their Silver Lions, or worse yet, like I said before, their actual money. Now, as I mentioned previously, there are a heck of a lot of different things that you can get in these crates. You can get things like decorations, decals, profile icons, Silver Lions, even vehicles from previous events. And actually, on their website itself, you could see where it says full list of items in the travel suitcase, which is the most recent Silver Lion chest as of when I'm recording this video. It puts the vehicles right up top, and it doesn't tell you, for the most part, with the exception of the IS-7, what your odds are of getting any of these things, right? So it basically makes you think like, wow, I can get all of these vehicles. And then towards the bottom, you start getting into the less interesting things that you can get. But the fact is, the items near the bottom of that shows, like battle trophies, backups, wagers, orders, boosters, Silver Lions, all of those things, those are by far, in a way, the most common things that you are going to get. And in fact, actually, in my experience, those are going to be the things that you get pretty much every single time. I mean, the odds of getting anything but boosters, wagers, backups, Silver Lions, anything like that are negligible, and they get even worse as you get into the cooler things. So for example, in my experience, I've actually gotten probably around 5 to 10 decals, nothing all too awesome, but you know, I mean, after opening up literally hundreds, possibly over 1,000 of these, okay, that's something, I guess. Some profile icons too. I may have gotten 1 or 2 decorations, but when it comes to vehicles, I think I've only ever gotten 1 vehicle. I may have gotten a second one, but it was something that I've already had, so it didn't really count, and thus I'm kind of forgetting it. But the only one vehicle that I do ever remember getting from the Silver Lion chests was the Merkava Mark III, the US one, which is completely crazy that I got that in the first place. But the odds of getting that are negligible, and the one that so many people want so often is the IS-7. And the odds for getting that, it says, are around, and I quote, 0.001%. So you need to open up 100 of these just to be able to have, give or take, around a 1% chance of getting it. And I know that's not how statistics work exactly, but you guys get the concept. It's a really, really bad chance of actually getting an IS-7. And I know people are going to say in the comments below, well, my friend opened up 1 chest and got the IS-7. And I am 100% certain that that thing actually has happened. I am sure of it. But for the vast majority of people, you will probably open up dozens, hundreds, possibly thousands of these and never even sniff the IS-7. And there's an extremely good chance that you're not going to be able to get any vehicle at all, regardless of the IS-7. You probably won't get the Buccaneer S1, the F11F1, C2A1, whichever vehicles that you can see on any of these lists, there's hardly a chance that you're going to be able to get any of those, unfortunately, because some of them are really, really cool, like, again, the F11F1. I find that to be an awesome vehicle that I really wish that they added as a premium in the tech tree so that you can buy it whenever you want, but unfortunately, they did not do that. And that in and of itself is one of the big issues here, is that Gaijin doesn't tell you exactly what the odds are. I could have sworn in the past, at one point, Gaijin released some sort of a document that showed what the odds are of winning any one sort of prize, but unfortunately, I can't find it. Maybe it was a fever dream, I'm not entirely sure, but the only vehicle that I can consistently find Gaijin mentioning what the odds are, give or take, is the IS-7, where it says 0.001%. And basically, that is the lowest odds of you being able to actually get a vehicle in the entire Silver Lion crate lineup, so to speak. And instead of actually giving you the odds, Gaijin puts next to the different prizes that you can get in-game a little dice where it kind of says, oh, well, your odds are high of winning this. It'll give you like a 5 on the dice. Or if it's a medium chance, it'll give you a 3 on the dice. Or if it's a low chance, it'll give you a 1 on the dice. But the problem is, those are all subjective, right? Like, what's a good chance to get any one thing? What's a high chance of getting something? What does a low chance mean? Does that mean it's a 10% chance? Does that mean it's a 5% chance? As I'm sure that pretty much anyone who has ever opened up any number of these Silver Lion chests can attest, low doesn't mean a 10% chance. It doesn't mean a 5% chance. It doesn't mean a 1% chance. It's a fraction of a 1% chance. Freeze frame, Tenki-san from the future here. Of course, when I say less than a 1% chance, I mean specifically vehicles. Other things that are rated low are a little bit better than a 1% chance, I think, based on how many I've received. Now, what that fraction is, I'm not entirely sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 0.1% or if it was even smaller. I've seen some people try to claim that it was a 1 in 1,000 chance to be able to get a vehicle, and that was as of 2023. I'm not entirely sure what those odds are, but as far as I could tell, they are not very good. And that's one of the big issues here, is that unfortunately what Gaijin does, and I can understand why they do this, they are a company after all, but what Gaijin does is that they tell you, oh, well, these are the prizes that you can earn, and they put those nice, awesome vehicles right in front of your face. Those are the top things that they show off in any of the lists in which they tell you that you can win X or Y prizes. And then all the way at the bottom of the list is going to be the boosters, it's going to be the wagers, it's going to be the orders, just the straight up Silver Lions, which tends to be like 10 or 25,000 Silver Lions, which is essentially only a fraction of what you spent to be able to open up a crate in the first place. So you're never going to win all your money back by opening up crates just by opening up Silver Lions directly. You might be able to get a good chunk of it back if you wisely use your Silver Lion boosters, which I'll go over in just a moment, but you're never going to be able to get everything back unless you are extremely lucky or something similar to that. I am essentially 100% sure that I've never gotten all my money back just by playing Silver Lions chests. Whatever money I put into it, I never get back, and I almost never have won anything substantial outside of that Merkava Mark 3D, and now that I think about it, the TIS-MA. It's really not good. And as you could see, pretty much all of my Silver Lion chest openings I've recorded and put them up online so that you can see approximately what the odds are, and suffice it to say, they are not good. Now, getting into some of the other things outside of the vehicles, of course, you can get boosters. And one huge thing that I'm just going to say right off the bat here, if you're going to purchase a bunch of these Silver Lion chests, because again, they are not a scam, however, the odds aren't great for you to be able to get something like a previous event vehicle, but what I will say is that if you are going to end up buying some of these for boosters, for example, which end up being actually pretty decent. I'm not going to say that boosters are a good or bad thing, but they can help you out quite a bit. Make sure that you buy Silver Lion chests not in bulk, but rather maybe like 5 or 10 at a time on any one given day, and then go through all of your boosters in a timely fashion. And the reason being is because if you purchase like 100 of these Silver Lion chests, what happens is that you get like 80 boosters or 50 however many boosters, dozens upon dozens of boosters, and they all have the same exact timer, which means that you have like 400 matches between them that you have to be able to play. And the problem with that is that no one's going to get 400 matches done within a 2.5 or 3 day timer period, which is a very big issue. So again, you want to make sure that you spread your boosters out, spread your purchasing out of these Silver Lion chests, because inevitably boosters are going to be the main thing that you get outside of possibly just straight up Silver Lions. And believe me, after purchasing even 20 or 30 of these chests, those boosters start stacking up and it becomes a real hassle. Anything over like 30 chests that you purchase, it becomes a major headache and forces you either to stack boosters, which is inefficient, or play this game a lot more than you want, which could induce burnout. Now, speaking of boosters, if I haven't already said it, RP boosters are seemingly the most common booster type, and by quite a wide margin. In my most recent 150 purchases purchases of these crates, I have unlocked 21 RP boosters compared to 12 SL boosters. Though I do not have statistics on my other recent crate purchases offhand, I can tell you that, anecdotally at least, this has been a trend for years, ever since they introduced the SL crate to War Thunder a few years back. Now again, unfortunately, Gaijin doesn't give us the odds of getting any one thing outside of the IS-7 in these crates, which really sucks, because it would be extremely interesting to see if they have a difference in the rate of being able to get RP and SL bonuses. And again, at least anecdotally, I've noticed a pretty major division in how often I get RP boosters, which is far more often compared to SL boosters. And I think a big reason for this disparity, and this goes into the design of the SL crates in general, these SL crates cost 60,000 silver lions. You buy 10 of them, all of a sudden you're out of 600,000 silver lions, barring you getting any straight up silver lions or SL boosters. Gaijin probably doesn't want you to earn your silver lions back, and the reason being is because you can purchase silver lions in-game via golden eagles, which basically means that, for example, if you're going to buy the largest amount of silver lions possible, which is currently 1.3 million silver lions, that costs 3,000 golden eagles, which is just about $20 USD. And basically, how much is 1.3 million silver lions going to get you? Just a little bit over 20 crates. And again, that's not saying that you're not going to be able to earn it back. There are flukes occasionally where you might be able to get a 1 million SL reward or a 500,000 SL reward. I've gotten it, and I'm sure that a lot of other people have gotten it, but by far and away, those are not very common. You're most likely going to get 10,000, 25,000, maybe 50,000 if you're somewhat lucky, and again, mostly RP boosters. Because of course, Gaijin also wants you to be able to earn all these vehicles, but they don't necessarily want you to have a way to pay for it. And what's a good way to pay for these vehicles? Oh, I don't know, buying silver lions directly via golden eagles, or of course, you can go ahead and buy a premium vehicle or premium time, or better yet, you can get all three things: silver lions, premium vehicles, and premium time, because that's what people want. That's what happens when you have a deficit of SL. You end up having to buy things in game, which is ultimately what these silver lion chests are meant to do, at least in my opinion. I'm going to say that again, in my opinion, they're designed to extract your in-game currency to be able to force you to purchase XYZ thing, again, whether it's premium time, a premium vehicle, or just straight up silver lions via golden eagles. But again, I'm going to say this, I don't think that these are a scam, because again, I'm proof of it. I've gotten the Merkava Mark 3D for the US. You can get those too. I'm not saying that you can't, but the odds are not in your favor. They are so against you that anyone who doesn't have millions upon millions upon millions of silver lions just kind of sitting around, not waiting around for anything, but again, just kind of doing nothing in your silver lion bank, yeah, okay, maybe buy some of these silver lion chests. But if you don't have many silver lions in the first place, I would strongly recommend not getting any. And if you do, don't get more than maybe like 10 at any one given time, because again, they are a quick way to be able to drain your money. I mean, think about it. If you're not playing this game with premium time, with a premium vehicle, and you're just maybe like a rank 3 player or something, how long does it take to earn silver lions? Probably quite a while for you. And then all of a sudden you have this thing where it takes 600,000 of those silver lions and just zaps it away all within the space of around 20 seconds and gives you some silver lions back, maybe a few boosters, and probably nothing else outside of maybe wagers and orders, which you're probably not going to be able to use all that often. And if you do, there's a good chance that you're not going to be too successful with them. With very few exceptions, it probably takes the vast majority of people many times longer to earn the 600,000 SL that it costs to buy 10 of these crates than it takes to actually spend them on the crates. Again, it only takes like 30 seconds for the transaction to go through, probably actually quite a bit less, like 10 seconds. Meanwhile, it probably takes most people hours and hours to be able to actually earn those SL in the first place to be able to buy those crates. And then, of course, even beyond this, Gaijin just switched over to a brand new system for silver lion crates probably a few months ago as of the recording of this video that makes it extremely difficult to track how many of these things you've actually purchased. And you can even see me struggling to track how many I purchased in my most recent video, again as of the recording of this, where I was setting out to buy 100 of them and I accidentally purchased 130. Whoops, that's another 1.8 million silver lions down the drain. And again, you make some of your silver lions back either via SL or boosters, but again, it's a lot down the drain just by simply forgetting exactly how many you purchased in the first place. In the past, you could actually purchase up to 100 of these chests at a time, which I feel like was actually a pretty easy way to keep track of it, because of course you're going to remember remember big purchases much more easily than you would remember maybe a 10 purchase of Silver Lions crates. And on top of that, you would keep the item until you used it. It wasn't something that immediately got spent as soon as you purchased it like it is now. Nowadays, you can only buy 10 of these at a time. It doesn't go into an item stash like the previous ones did. And again, it opens them all at once. And on top of that, it only shows your SL in a very small area on top of the screen, largely blending into the background as the SL doesn't have its own background, if that makes any level of sense. Nothing really to highlight it. That makes it incredibly easy for you to lose track of how many SL you've spent, to the point where Gaijin probably is counting on this fact alone, where you can hardly see how many Silver Lions you have left. And again, the fact that you're only buying 10 at a time and they open up 10 at a time, so you want to bear that in mind. Before, you could buy 100 of them, but they would all open up one at a time and would have an animation. Now the process is substantially quicker. I mean, heck, you could even look at my most recent video. I did 150 of these being opened, and it only took like 7 minutes for me. Previously, it would take probably like 20 minutes for me to open up the same amount. It is a fraction of the time that it takes, and this again makes it much more difficult for you to be able to actually keep track of your Silver Lions again. And this is probably another tactic that Gaijin uses for you to keep spending your Silver Lions, because why not spend them if you feel like you have more than you actually do? I mean, between the minimized role of the Silver Lion counter in the screen, and again, it does exist, it's just not really all that visible. And then of course you also have the much faster opening of the chest, the lower amount that you can purchase at any one given time, the fact that a very substantial amount of them are boosters, and a very substantial amount of the boosters are RP boosters. And then of course you also have your minimal chances of getting anything extremely desirable, especially a vehicle, and these end up being a very, very big and probably successful money sink for Gaijin. Now, Gaijin is extremely tight-lipped on what their finances are like and how much they get from XYZ promotion, because essentially this is a promotion that comes around every now and again, isn't around all the time, and typically they last about a month, which is going to be the case here with the travel suitcases. But with that said, I've been ranting about this for long enough. I've gotten pretty much all the points that I want. Again, I'm not going out there and saying that these are a scam, because they're not. You can legitimately win really, really cool prizes that, unless Gaijin introduces some way in the future for you to be able to get these older event vehicles, such as through a new event, you're not going to be able to get these event vehicles any other way than through these Silver Lion chests, most likely. Which really sucks, of course, but again, I'm proof that not only can you get these prizes, but you can get really, really good ones. Again, the Merkava Mark 3D is, in my opinion, one of the most desirable, and I managed to somehow snag it. And it's not because I'm a content creator. You can look at my many hundreds, or possibly even over 1,000 of these Silver Lion chests that I've opened that have been absolute duds, or at least close to it. Now, that being said, again, don't get me wrong, opening these chests can be fun and can actually help you progress through War Thunder via boosters, wagers, and again, extremely rarely, you might even get a premium vehicle. The problem with these chests is that when they're opened, when you're short on Silver Lions, and totally crash your in-game savings. These chests, on average, result in a fairly large net loss, at least in my experience. Again, you can get some things that can help, but only use Silver Lions that you know that you have in excess in order to purchase these Silver Lion chests. Gambling, regardless of the currency, can be a huge problem, especially when you buy in-game currency via real-life money, or at least by purchasing Golden Eagles with real-life money first, because, again, that's the middleman in which you don't buy the Silver Lions directly, rather you have to buy the Golden Eagles, and then, of course, you can buy yourself the Silver Lions. If you struggle with gambling, it's no reason to be ashamed. Just recognize it before you start doing it in the first place, even in video games. These can be some of the most insidious forms of gambling out there. Besides all of this, a motto that I live by is that just because you can pay for something doesn't mean that you can afford it. Know what the odds are, or at least approximately what the odds are. Give yourself a good idea of what they are. And again, that's one of the main reasons why I make my videos in the first place, to show you that, hey, these aren't as glamorous as you might think that they are. The odds aren't as good as you hope or think that they are. Never put yourself in a financial hole to fund a gambling habit, especially in a video game. Know your responsible financial limits and go no further than them. Don't let War Thunder either intrude on your actual life and make it any worse. So in conclusion, while these are fun to open and they give you these really, really cool graphics when you do open them, and they're really quick, and wow, you can win something cool, and you hear stories of people winning things that are cool, the odds of opening up a vehicle are extremely low on any given chest that you open. You have to remember that, and you also have to make sure that you're not going into debt over it. Either way, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, guys. I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.